Hey, fifth grade. How's it going, my friends? Good to see you all who are virtual for Wave 1. So we are going to talk today about scene analysis again, but this time I actually do have some very, very short scenes to analyze. If you had a chance to look over the monologue analysis and give it a look and see what you thought of it, how you broke it down into beats, right? Good. So what we're going to do today is we're going to find some short scenes, or rather I have some short scenes between two people. We'll start with two, right? So we don't make it super complicated just yet. And we will try to figure out, with our four aspects of scene analysis, what each character wants, right? And how the plot of the scene progresses throughout, right? And then any exposition at all that lets us know who they are, right? And number 4, find beats to break these into. Now these scenes are shorter, so we probably won't have as many beats as we did in the monologues. But what we want to do is find out who these characters are, right? And as their journey progresses and as the plot progresses, find out, right, do they have the same goals? Do they have different goals? And other questions. And I'll write these down later on. Do they help each other accomplish their goals? Do their separate motivations help them find what they want? Or do they get in each other's way, right? Is something just so, what they want so different that they don't help each other at all? All right, so we will go ahead and take a look at some of these today. And then I will go ahead and explain this a little further at the end of class, but I will start putting more scenes on Schoology. Now you guys don't have any official homework for Friday, right? However, over the weekend, and again, I will explain this in greater detail at the end, over the weekend, what I would like you guys to do is I would like you guys to look at several scenes that I will put on Schoology, and I would like all of you to go ahead and take a look and submit an assignment for me and break down the characters as best as you can based upon what we've talked about. So what is a character like at the beginning, middle, and end of each scene, right? How does the plot change? What is the overall plot of the scene? What are they trying to do? And then, is there any exposition? Are there any words that tell us what we're looking for? And lastly, how many beats do you think you can split the scene into? If you don't think there are any, you think the emotion's the same, that's great. If you think it should be split up into several beats, go for it. Nobody's right or wrong. Nobody's wrong here, right? You guys have different opinions. I understand that. All I'm looking for is for you guys to show me that the instructions I've put about analyzing a scene on Schoology makes sense, and you guys have thought about how to break a scene down. Sound good? Okay. So we talked on Tuesday about the monologue, the fun little monologue about the dog named Abby, right? So these scenes are unique. Now what I have done is I have taken original scenes that are not from an original show or play or an original movie, right? What I figured we could do, right, to analyze a scene is just take simple scenes that were created with two characters and try to figure out with very little dialogue where they have been, where they are going, what is their journey, right? So let me write down the 4 things we're looking for again, and after I do that, we will go ahead and we will get started. All right, so 1, 2, 3, and 4. First, the character journey, right? We just said this already. What does each character want? What are they willing to do to get it, right? How do they feel at the beginning? How do they feel in the middle? How do they feel at the end? Have they changed? Have they not changed? If so, how or why? Right? Exactly. So character journey is our first part. All right, so number 2, remember, we have plot progression. And that, as we said, plot progression is basically when we have, like we said, the words that are within one scene, the dialogue between two people or just one person if it's a monologue, right? What happened at the beginning, what happened at the end. We have no knowledge, right, of what happened, assuming we haven't read the play. So based on just the simple little scene we have, right, what happened at the beginning, what happened before this in the past, what's going to happen in the future, do we think, and how does that determine for us the emotion we use, the motivation we use in showing the present, right? Number 3, exposition. We talked about exposition, right? Exposition is either a good thing or it is a bad thing, right? A little exposition, a little bit of words that help you get in the zone, get you up to speed with who these people are, is fine. If an entire scene is exposition, if the dialogue basically tells you what's happening instead of showing you what's happening, then it's boring, right? All we need is a little intro, a little exposition, and that's fine. Because the scene then plays out, we know who these characters are, we know their strengths, we know their weaknesses, we know their feelings, we know what they want, and that is perfect. All right? And number 4, all right, number 4, we added this. This wasn't originally on my list, and I should say this. I forgot to say this yesterday. I updated the list of scene vocabulary on Schoology, and I added beats to that list. So number 4 is beats. If there's ever any confusion, right, as to what beats are, I have added it to the page on Schoology, my drama page, right? So you guys should find it there. Now, beats, as we said, beats, remember, are the various little segments that we break down a scene in, right? So it could be, remember that monologue we did yesterday? That was just my analysis, right? You know, I've been at this for a little bit. So I managed to find 6 different beats when the emotions changed. Some emotions were the same in certain beats, many of them were different, right? It'll happen. Somebody will feel one way and they'll feel a different way. They might go back to feeling the way they felt in beat 1 or beat 2, but then things might change and they go back to things might change and they might feel differently later on. Right? Emotions are wild and crazy in movies and plays, mostly plays. The theater's very dramatic, hence my class. So, look for these 4, right? And we should be able to analyze a scene. Now, I have pulled up a scene that I found here. Due to limited stuff in my room, I'm not able to project it on a wall, but I am going to explain the scene. I wish there was a better way to do this. I'm going to figure this out. But for now, I am going to describe the 2 characters that we have in our scene, and with the information that we have, we should be able to take the 2 characters, and with the very little dialogue that we have, we can create a scene. All right? Or we can analyze a scene, rather. Okay, so let me go ahead and see. Now, the name of this particular one is called, let me see. So this is a fun little scene that I found. It's 2 males, right? So 2 men do this scene, 2 boys in your case. And there are I picked certain scenes that had different people. I have one scene that's 2 boys, one scene that can be 2 girls, one scene that's a boy and a girl, and another scene that is 2 boys, but one of the boys can also be a girl. The great thing about most of these scenes that I've found is that in some cases, gender can be swapped. We can have a girl playing a part and a boy playing a part, or switch them around. So we can be flexible with this exercise, and if you guys want to analyze these or maybe practice saying some of these out loud to yourself, that's great. And this will make things fun and easy when you analyze the characters for your grade on Monday. So you will, you can say the lines out loud if you'd like, if it helps you get a feel for the character, right? Just like I'm about to do, and give it a shot, see what you have, and see if that helps your analysis. And like I said, I will explain this all again at the end, so nobody's confused. But for now, let's go ahead and pull up, I'm going to pull up a scene. I will introduce you to the characters, and we will go ahead and see how it plays out based on what we have. All right, and again, so the two characters, let me make sure I have this right, are two boys. One is named Greg. Let me write that down. Let me see, I have room over here. So we have Greg, he's a different color. Greg and Rowley. Right? So I know it's a little light's a little weird, guys. So let me see if no, that doesn't work. Sorry, I'll rewrite that. Sorry, friends. Okay. Let's do. You know what? Let's just do blue. Run further over. We have Greg and Rowley. Excellent. So, our two characters right here, Greg and Rowley. Simple enough. We can go ahead now and I will read the scene. I will tell you who is saying which scene. Once again, my friends, because it's virtual, I apologize that this is sort of an awkward way to do it, but I will tell you what each character is saying, and we will go ahead and figure out which emotion. Now, I might read this a specific way, right? So based on what I think, I have some emotion in my voice that determines what I thought about the scene. You might read it differently, which is fine, but I'm giving you my version of this scene. So here we go. All right. So it starts with Rowley says, "Let's race again." And Greg says, "How can you be having fun after what we just went through? Our first day was a disaster." And Rowley says, "It was?" Greg says, "There's bullies and cheese and I can't be the guy who doesn't have a place to sit at lunch. I can't be that guy. If we want to get through middle school in one piece, we're going to need to be popular." And Rowley says, You said only girls worry about being popular." Greg says, "I didn't say popular." Rowley says, "You didn't?" And Greg says, "No, I said cool. We're going to need to be cool." Rowley says, "My mom told me to just be myself and people would like me." And then Greg says, "That would be good advice if you were somebody else. Look, I can't eat lunch off my lap for the next 3 years. We gotta move up." And then Rowley says, what if I get that joke book and bring it to school?" And Greg says, "That book is not your friend, Rowley. No book is going to help us. Actually, there might be something, but it's in Roderick's room. And then Raleigh finishes by saying, I'm not going in Roderick's room. All right, so there we go. A very short and simple scene, which works very well. Okay, so we can pick up a couple of things from this, right? So we have Greg and we have Raleigh. So the first thing we want to do is break down these characters, right? So it's a little clear. I mean, we've gotten a lot better over time about bullying in schools, and I think we've made some good progress. And it seems like maybe they've been a little bullied, right? But it hasn't really hurt them. They still feel confident going forward. They just need to steer clear of certain guys. So I look at Greg, and this is my analysis, right? I'm just going to make a couple of character analyses about these two. So Greg seems to me like he's the confident one of the group, right? So Greg, so he's confident, has a plan, and not easily defeated. Right? So he is not so much the leader of the two, right? But he always seems to have a way to pull through when things get tough. And let me see, he has advice about, let me see here. All right. Or sorry, I said Greg. I'm sorry, guys. Raleigh is what I meant. Raleigh is the one. Sorry for that confusion. So Raleigh is Raleigh's a little more confident, right? And Greg is the one who's worried. So let me reverse those. My apologies. All right. It's been a long day. Okay, and so let's put those down here. All right. Raleigh. Confident, not defeated easily, and kind of a funny guy, right? He talks about bringing the joke book, so funny guy, right? And Greg kind of follows his lead. So Greg is worried about being bullied, right? He's worried about not having a place to sit at lunch, right? So he has some concerns about school. And so we can go ahead and determine that, it's funny because Greg seems generally worried about school. Worried, I'll put that down. Bullied. And unsure, right? Unsure about middle school and how they're going to survive. So, but we watch their journey though. We watch as they go through. And it seems like they're staying the same throughout. But then we get those last two lines, right? So Raleigh's he's like, hey, we'll be okay, right? Things will be all right. And Greg is unsure. And then Raleigh has that line, what if I get that joke book and bring it to school? And Greg realizes right away that's not a good plan. And then it even says in the script, actually, I wish I could show this to you guys, it says beat. So there actually is a beat written out for us. And it says, that book is not your friend, Raleigh. No book is going to help us. And then after that beat, Greg has the line that there's something in Roderick's room. Now that something is interesting. We don't know what that is. It's up to us to figure out what that is. And that beat changes everything. Suddenly, Greg is the confident one, right? Because he has an idea. And Raleigh says, I'm not going in Roderick's room. right? So, Roderick. We don't really know who Roderick is. Now, that's up to us, right? Roderick, let me write Roderick's name down, right over here. Roderick, it's up to us to use our imaginations to figure out who Roderick is, right? So now we have, let's see, Roderick, right? And he could be maybe a mean teacher, a teacher who the kids don't like, or he could be the principal. So let's say, we need something to frighten the bullies. So if it's, let's go with a mean teacher, because if this is just me, we're thinking about this, we're going to frighten the bullies. So let's say in middle school, Roderick is the mean science teacher. But science rooms, especially in middle school and high school, have those big skeletons in the rooms. I don't know if you guys ever see those. Just stand still. It's to teach us all about the human body, right? Now those skeletons, maybe there's something they can use to pull a prank on the bullies and get even. That seems to me like what they want to do. They want to get even with the bullies, but they don't want to be sneaky, and they don't want to get in too much trouble, right? So that would be something I would write down. So skeleton in classroom used for prank. All right. Okay, so we have that about the characters, right? We think about the characters and we figure out who Roderick is based on what happens. So don't forget, Greg and Raleigh, this is how they feel at the beginning, right here, right? But I'm going to put an arrow in between the two of them because they switch at the very end, right? Their roles are reversed. So moving right along. All right, so we have character journey. Plot progression, well, we've kind of figured that out for ourselves a little bit, right? Judging by the words that we have, we can figure out that in the past, they were, draw an arrow down here, past, they were bullied, right? And in the future, at least from what I'm able to see, it seems like they have something in Roderick's room. They want to get even and pull a trick on the bullies. So reverse it. Future, get even. Let's see. All right. Past, bullied, future, get even. I apologize, my handwriting is not the best, you guys. But for plot, that's what we have. Now, we have the interesting conundrum of exposition. So let's go ahead and take a look, right? Exposition, a couple of lines that let us know about who they are. There's not a whole lot that lets us know about who they are, right? And except for, I would wager that for exposition, in this scene, we have Greg's first two lines, right? We don't really know that much about them, but we know that maybe they were bullied a little bit, because Greg mentions bullies, and Greg is like, our first day was a disaster. So middle school has not, even only, there's a few days going, right? Middle school is not going very well. So exposition, put that there. Middle school is tough and we are looking for bullied and seat at lunch, right? So these are the things they want. These are the things they're worried about. So under exposition, we have this, right? These two things right here. Now, lastly, we have beats, right? We're getting a little short on time, so I'll try to make this quick, and then I will explain to you guys again what I'm looking for going forward. Okay, so we have, like I said, in that monologue we had, I managed to find 6 beats, okay? Now, this scene is a little shorter, and it has 2 people. And you may have noticed in the stage directions there was a beat. So that beat, in a way, is interesting because it kind of solves our problem for us. In this short scene, it seems as though there are only 2 beats, right? And the beats change the feelings of both characters. So the first beat, beat 1, put number 1 here, is pretty much everything up until the last 2 lines, right? So we have, we have Greg feeling insecure, and we have G, and then Raleigh feeling, silly. Put a big word up here, right? I'm going to put a word called nonchalant. And nonchalant means that you kind of don't really care, and it's kind of like a silly, reckless way of not caring about something, right? So silly and nonchalant. Nonchalant is Nonchalant. Nonchalant. Right there. There we go. All right. And 2, second beat, things change. In beat number 2, suddenly Greg is confident and Raleigh is worried because Roderick's room is not a place he wants to go, and that leaves us on the edge of our seat, right? We want to know what comes next, even though there is no next with these scenes, right? So the next is up to us, and we figure out they'll get even, and we can really use our brains with that, right? I just wrote the simple things down for the sake of time, but when you guys analyze a scene, so if you were to analyze this scene, you could go even further and figure out how they were bullied in the past and how they get even in the future. Because the more specific you are, the easier it is to start and end a scene. The plot progression is so much more fun. All right, my friends, I apologize. I know this is all a lot. I know it's all a little crazy, but once you guys get your brain, the gears rotating on this, it's a lot of fun. So like I said, I am going to post some more scenes and this one we just did, so you guys can take a look at it again on Schoology. You have no homework for Friday. However, for Monday, I would like you to take a look at the scenes I have that I'll add tonight, and then I will add a few more for the weekend. Take a look, pick one of them, right? Just pick one. You don't have to pick a bunch. So read them over, see which one you like, and then go ahead and break down the scenes between the 2 people based on everything we have. What is the journey of the characters? How do they start? What are they like in the middle? How do they finish, right? Character journeys. Plot progression. What do you think happened in the past? What do you think happens in the future? So that way the scene plays out with a certain feeling and motivation. Number 3, exposition. Is there any lines, any words, any dialogue that makes us wonder, tells us a little bit about who these people are? And lastly, number 4, beats. How many beats can we split the scene up into when emotions and motivations change, right? Now, like I said, friends, all 4 of these things are listed in the scene analysis vocabulary on Schoology. I will re-add this list every day so no one gets confused, okay? All right, have fun, and I know it might seem like a lot, but do your best, try to analyze these, and have fun with this, guys. These are fun scenes, and hopefully when you guys are back in the building, well, you probably won't be in time, but if we ever get back and I'm able to act with you guys and do something, I can't wait to see what you've learned from this. All right, my friends, we'll see you tomorrow. Thanks so much, guys.